You're posting, you're speaking, you're doing everything they told you would grow your business. So why is it not converting? Because visibility is only half the equation. Getting attention is easy. Turning that attention into clients takes strategy. VoiceLab was built to solve that. This is where front-end visibility meets back-end conversion. You learn how to get on stages, create your own platforms, and use podcasts, summits, and workshops to grow your audience and generate real leads. Then you learn what most people never build. A system that captures those leads, follows up, nurtures relationships, and turns interest into revenue. Email and newsletter strategy that actually gets responses. Workflows, not just more noise. Real connection that leads to real business. Inside VoiceLab, you are not guessing. You're learning the how. You're implementing in real time. You're building a business that works even when you are not constantly chasing attention. Because here's the truth. If you don't have visibility, no one knows you exist. If you don't have systems, nothing converts. VoiceLab gives you both, so you can stop performing for attention and start building momentum that pays you back. If you are ready to grow your authority, expand your reach, and finally turn visibility into income, join Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi in the VoiceLab. Scan the QR code, join VoiceLab Group on the School platform, and build the business that actually works.
Yes, we're back, and maybe my video will stay up this time. Hello. It is Thursday, and we are back with another welcome. We're back with another episode of the Voice Lab podcast. Buttons galore today. I don't know what's going on, but hey, tech is here and it's taken over. All right. Well, hey, I'm your hostess with the mostest, Nicole Borghi, and we are getting our groove on today for this great episode of the Voice Lab, because what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about authority is built on stages, not social media. So folks, we're going to talk about the main focus of this episode today is why stages outperform posting, just posting alone, and borrowed audience versus owned attention, authority positioning through speaking, and becoming the obvious expert. That is what we're talking about today. And in the Voice Lab, we are always about stop, kind of chasing your tail, right? We want to build engagement, but we want to simplify your life. And how are we going to simplify your life? Is by sharing with you the real tips and tricks on what you can get rid of, the chaos you can get rid of, the tech you can get rid of, but understanding that building authority is coming on the stage, and we're going to do it with fun, and we're going to do it in a collaboration, and we are here absolutely to support you. And who am I? I'm Nicole Borghi. I am your visibility leader, and I show entrepreneurs how to leverage their stage as a marketing machine. And that's what we're going to talk about: authority, platforms that scale, influence, and build that revenue. So I create done for you and done with you stages. That's workshops or master classes, even summits. And we're going to go into VR a little later this year, and we've got some wonderful things that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to seed that a little bit. And folks, I always ask, what stage does your message deserve? So are you with the right audience? Are you with the aligned audience? And I'm going to bring my collaborator and power partner here, Colleen Stubbs, up. If you want to come up and share a little bit about you.
Yeah, hi there. I am Colleen Stubbs. I am Nicole's wingman on this Voice Lab venture that we are collaborating on together. And what do? I am the founder of Simplified CEO Systems. And so what that means inside Voice Lab is that I am the person who helps you know what to do with your leads after you get on stage. And so I help you build out the back end conversion system, right? So I help you gather those leads, not only get them into your CRM or through a CSV or however you're bringing those in, but we get them tagged, we get them put into sequences. We really help you learn how to integrate them and the importance of all the steps, moving them from your audience on these stages into your audience in your business world, into prospects, into buyers. That's what I'm here to help you do. And so absolutely, Nicole, I think that social media is important. consistency across platforms is important, but there's nothing that will ever be able to replace actually putting your face and your voice as your brand out into the world. And the stages is the perfect place to do that. And so maybe you're one of those people who hasn't been on stages, doesn't even know how to get on stages. We cover that in Voice Lab. Maybe you've been on a few stages and it wasn't a great experience. And that would be where I would say to you, you need to get on a stage with Nicole, because I had that same experience. I was on 4 or 5 different stages, and a couple of them were okay. None of them were great. A couple of them were horrible. And then I got on stage with Nicole, and it was a totally different ballgame. And so really the way that she handles her stage helped me to gain the confidence that I needed to be speaking on these stages, and to not only be confident in my message, but confident in the way that I'm connecting with the audiences. And so that was a great opportunity for me. And so if you're one of those people that maybe has been like, yeah, no, stages aren't my place, they actually might be. Because one thing that you cannot take away from your business is your face and voice. It really needs to be out there. And the stage is a great opportunity for you to really bring that to life and share that. And so, as Nicole said, that could be podcasts, that could be master classes, it could be webinars, it could be summit speaking. There's so many opportunities, and there's always going to be a way that is a little bit more comfortable for you to start. And Nicole is going to be a great guide on that journey.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that. Make sure that my buttons, I can't see all my buttons because of my lighting. So everything is moving around. So here we go. Glad to be here. And thank you so much for sharing that. I do. It is great when you have an aligned audience, when you are ready to share your voice and your worth and become something a little bit more than the best kept secret, right? You're ready to really get out there. How are you doing it? What is your plan? What is your strategy? And then who's backing you up? Because if you do this by yourself, uh, you're negating that you're trying to build an audience. You're negating that you're trying to go with power partners. You're negating the affiliation. You're negating the collaboration, and you're negating the group. And this is part of the authority code that is coming up here shortly, that summit. There are just a few folks, there's a few more seats available on the authority code, which is in May 19th through the 21st. So if you want to come in there or you want to sponsor, we have room for one more person to sponsor the event. And of course, always welcome there is affiliation and collaboration. So if you've got a great tool or you have a great product that you want to share and sponsor at the event, talk to me, message me, DM me, comment in the chat. I will get with you or have someone else get with you, and we'll talk about that. I want to offer and provide the group great tools that have already been used, right? So not going to just share you with anybody, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going in there and meeting with the person themselves, using the tool themselves, or have somebody in there that can vouch and have a great testimony of their journey and see where they've come and what's happened with that tool, right? You want to see for yourself, you want to experience for yourself before you're sharing that tool. And I don't just, hand stuff over. I want to make sure that I curate who I'm sharing with you and collaborating with you. So that's every stage, everywhere. And if you're not collaborating, if you're trying to do it yourself and stay a solopreneur, nothing happens alone. We have to work on building the group and influencing the group that we're with. And especially if you have a group of people that you work with and a networking that you have, or you're curating and working with your own community, even if it's on Facebook, how come you're not, here's a question that I ask people, and I really think that take a minute, ponder, work with it a little bit, regurgitate it, move it in your mind, reminisce, ruminate with it for a little bit and think, how come I'm not asking people in my group? But I want to have people in my group buy my stuff. Why are you not buying and serving the group that you are with, that you have curated to say, hey, buy my cool product, but I won't buy or ask you anything about what you do. So we want to learn and know more about the people that we work with. And in the long run, that way your group is still working with you. Your group is still live. Your group is still responding. Your group is still coming around to you. So that's networking, and that's stages. I know there's a lot of people that want to have people come on stage and just take anybody and everybody on the stage and they're not aligned. So if you're not aligned with those people, then why would they correspond or engage with you? And I know this is a time and it's a slippery slope because there's a lot of tech and everybody's got a darn little AI bot that's answering their stuff, and they never go in there at least once a week and try to develop a personalized relationship with people, and they're not at any end of that customer service sphere. And what happens with that is your team, your summit team, your people are not engaging with you. So are you in your group? Are you for your stages? Are you for your workshop and your networking? Are you reaching out to those people that are in your group and engaging with them? So talk to them. That is your clientele. That is your audience. And this way you can borrow other audiences, right? It kind of feels like this is the way to get those posts to start outperforming in a way, is working with other audiences, and a stage is a great way to do that, because you are bringing those speakers, you're bringing their audience and you're collaborating with them, right? So we're in a collaboration right now with the Marion, the publishing. What a great group. I just went in there yesterday and I was at her networking event and got to again meet some of the co-authors that are in the anthology and some other people in her group. But that's me kind of borrowing the audience and make sure that I'm there to support people. And do you notice that, Colleen, when you're networking, there's other audiences that you could get introduced to so you can own that attention?
Yeah, sure. Of course, that's a big reason why we go do those things. Why we go network and we expand. But like you said, it really is important to make sure that they're aligned. But let's back up a little bit to why stages outperform posting. So everybody knows that posting is important, right? And posting consistently is super important and beneficial to your business. But what's the difference if we're posting captions with maybe a picture, a graphic, something like that, versus posting a video, right? So if Nicole and I were to take a clip off of this podcast and share that as opposed to just a caption that's typed out and a picture. Well, watching a video with somebody speaking uses sight, it uses hearing, and it uses the subtle physical responses to emotional content, right? Like introception, right? And then if you're just reading a social media caption, that only involves sight. And so when we're building relationships, we want to be able to have as many touch points with people's senses as possible. And so there's just a huge difference. You're going from literally a caption, social media caption with a picture that is one sense to a video of you speaking where they hear your voice, they can see your movements, they can understand you better, which utilizes three senses, which is sight, hearing, and interception. So that's a huge difference. And that really brings a lot of weight and power to getting on stage and the importance of getting on stage, getting behind the mic. You know, what is it that Kimberly says? If somebody offers you the mic, take the mic, say yes, right?
Grab the mic all the
Grab the
time.
mic.
Grab the mic and anytime. But in a split second, be cognizant of the group that you're talking to when you do it so you don't flub your chance, that one chance on the mic.
That's true. That's so true. And so we're actually going down to an event with Kimberly Crow in Orlando in 2 weeks, and that'll be really exciting. I am super excited to go and do that. But back to where we're at with this, Nicole. I think that so many entrepreneurs feel like this is time consuming to put out videos because I think that they think they're going to sit here with a phone and make a video and they're going to have to do 55 retakes, right? When reality is that people aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for relatability. They're looking for authenticity. And we say that all the time. And that doesn't mean come on here without a bra on. It doesn't mean come unprepared. Um, that we understand you're your own animal in your own cave over here doing your own thing. But when you come on camera, you do need to be professional and you do need to be prepared. But the fact that we can take we both spoke at a summit this week, 25 minutes we spoke. We can take that and cut that down into 60-second clips and have that to post on social media over and over. We're not talking about grabbing a phone and making videos. We're talking about taking your opportunity on stage and turning what you speak about, what you share about your business into all of your content. And also being able to do that
It's
in
a
front.
one to many. So you're
Yeah.
doing a one to many and it's a evergreen post forever.
Yeah. And being able to do it in front of everybody else's audience. That is huge. And so when you get on, let's just back up and say a summit. Let's say that you got on a summit and there are 10 other people speaking on this summit. All 10 of those people are going to be emailing their email list about the summit, which includes you, right? They're going to be promoting that event that has you in it to their audience, as well as you doing it for them. And so right away, that is beyond one to many. I mean, one to many is like me borrowing Nicole's audience, but this is like borrowing everybody in the summit's audience, right? And people are going to come to see Nicole and they may stay to see me. Or maybe they come to see me and they come a little early and they also catch Nicole and they also catch the person after me, things like that. And so that is the way to really extend your reach, which is huge because we always want to work smarter, not harder. And so also getting these networking events. And when you get in there and you're talking and everybody's sharing their podcast, their business, their whatever, you learn about all of these opportunities, like Nicole was saying, where you can get in front of other audiences. That is how I introduced Mary to Nicole. Now, Nicole was in Mary's networking yesterday and sharing in there. And that's how that spreads. And it's a great disease to have. Just let it spread rampant, right? Get
Right.
around to
It's
everybody's
so
audience.
if you look at let's just share it where people can maybe understand it a little bit better. If you look at like Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of separation. How connected are you? And so when you don't look at that and you don't see the magic of what people have given you by sharing the stage with you and the leads you're connecting, right? And even at the live event that we're going to, those are people live that we get to meet and we get to talk to, we get to hug, we get to say hello to, have a drink with, have some lunch with, have a few laughs with, and work. It is a working mastermind of public speaking. And that's another group of people. And how deep is that relationship that you built?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is it's that the depth is caused by the ripple effect of those that you associate with. And I'm going to say again to make sure that you're aligned because that can be a horrible waste of time and energy when you're not aligned, when you're in rooms where you aren't aligned. And so that is one of the things that I love about Nicole is that the care she takes in making sure everybody that is on one of her events is aligned in their purpose and they're not overlapping. I really appreciate that too. I did recently speak on a summit where I was overlapping on topic with the person ahead of me, and it wasn't as edifying to everybody. You know, it was kind of a continuation of things instead of setting me up as my own authority in my area of expertise, right?
So you want to confirm with the host, who am I speaking with? Who's on the stage with me? Is this my aligned audience? And you can absolutely email them or their assistant and say, hey, I would love, here's what I'm talking about. Here's my service. So I would love separation from someone that's not speaking on the same thing. However, I would also say that dependent, and I know your energy. I did not see the person that spoke after you or near you or by you or however that worked out. I know your energy is different.
This is
There
true.
is a huge difference, and people will make a comparison. Here's a gold mine if you just flip the script on it. If you are out there and you're not faking the clown smile and you don't look like you're stuck right there and a little bit scary, but if you're true, if you're you, if you have power, you have experience, and it comes through when you talk, and the next person is like, oh, well, I have a CRM and there's a workflow and I do a thing. And then once upon a time, I told a story. I was walking down the street and then my friends and People have no control sometimes of their speaking because they do not bring clarity, focus, or have some type of strategy in their talk and conversation. You're not talking to a friend, you're talking to a mic, you're talking to a blank canvas. So you have to establish some type of connection. So that's your story. But also, as well, is does what you're saying have anything to do with your product, brand, or service, or the people in the audience? So if you don't test out your speech, if you don't train, if you don't get coaching somewhere, if you don't work on it, and you're not cognizant of who you're speaking to or when you're coming on the stage and you're arriving late, you didn't email your stuff, you don't connect to anybody, that's going to show up on stage. People will compare you to the last person. And if the person is boring, presentation slides or not, because presentations are a great trick for speakers to keep in focus. So if you're speaking on a lot of stage or to certain people, that it's a great thing for the audience. But what I will say is for a point of this conversation, people will get to have that comparison. And as an audience member, I would go, oh gosh,
Yeah.
wow, that who was that person before? I'm going to go back to that event dashboard. I'm going to contact that speaker. I want to know this person. I want to get to know this person. Maybe I don't need their product and service, but I'd love to recommend them. So there's that comparison. How can you stand out? And it's a good thing. It sucks when you're in the moment. I know I'm going to just say that because I've been there. But when you look at it down the line, what did they do that you can learn from that was something where you can say, oh, I've got better charm, I've got a better charisma, I've got more experience, and I'm a lot more focused? Or do I need to pivot somewhere? Was this person a little more dynamic and a little more where the audience felt engaged? But so there's a good thing to kind of compare to. But what I will say is, I see a lot of those speakers that were there and some of those speakers, and it happens at all events. I just had a conversation with Summer yesterday, and we both host stages. And the thing is if you're a speaker and you want people to pay attention to you, you want people to go in the chat, share something with the host. Say, hey, great job, 100%, thumbs up, or hey, ask a question, or hey, say something. If you want other people, and I support other people when I'm there, I'll say something. Maybe I can't come on camera because I'm on a phone call, but I'll say something in the chat like, hey, I can't come on camera, but great talk. Something's here right now. Here I am. Oh, yeah, I've been there. I'll put a one, I'll put 1,000. Say something. Support the other speakers that are there. And other speakers, you should support other people.
And
They
I
are
will
your
say,
audience, right?
absolutely. And I will say too that so I've heard so many speakers walk away and they're like, well, the audience wasn't very engaging, and I think, you know what, as the speaker, if you want your audience engaged, be engaging. There's an idea. You have to ask. You have to say, hey, please drop in the chat. Or how do you feel about this? I want you to take a minute and really think about this. Okay, grab your pen and paper. I'm going to give you a tip you're going to want to write down. Engage them, interact with them, draw their attention back to you, because so many people come on summits and things like that, and they're maybe busy doing other things, working and doing other things, but you're drawing them back to this so that you're drawing the focus and the attention back to the message you're sharing. You need to demonstrate, not just explain, really engage, so that nobody wants to sit and listen to something monotone for sure. But you also want to make sure that you're having touch points with them. The same as when you send an email out and you want them to click a link to book a call with you. That's in there. You want them to click this link and go read your blog post that correlates with it. You want them to click a link and use this tool. All of those things, it's the same thing. These are your clicks that you're trying to get, your engagement you're trying to get is by sharing that, and you have to tell them what to do. Please drop a one in the chat if this makes sense to you. Let's start this by telling me where you're from. Go ahead and drop where you are right now in the chat so we can see where we're hitting everywhere. And so these things are engaging, and it's really important. They need to be tied to your purpose of your message, but they're important in building the relationship, which is why we're even on the stage, right?
Well, 100%. And as when you come on the stage, if nobody's responding to you, in your mind, yes, hey guys, I see you're not responding right now. I'd love to have you, or I'd love to have you guys on camera. I'd love to see your smiling faces. If you have a chance, come on camera. Don't be mean to them. Just guide them back in and say, hey. And sometimes they can for that moment. Oh, yeah, I don't have my camera on. Here's a time I'm not on a call. Or even if you're taking a call and you put your phone down and just, be on camera if you win and if you can, right? Love for you guys to be on camera. And I know there's a lot of people that hone in. Well, you got to get out if you're not on camera. There's so many stages that have people and they're realizing that, hey, sometimes it's the Wi-Fi, people can't come on. Sometimes people are driving. I know there's excuses, but we're human. That's why online learning is so great for busy professionals because they can do it online without having to show up to the class or course. And there's nothing like being in your 30s or 40s, like I did, go back to college for a second time, and you're in with a bunch of 18-year-old teenagers, right? You really that's not the mindset you want to be in there. So where are you going? So this is what we get. The wonderful thing about being on a virtual stage. And if people aren't responding, say, okay, I like this. I hear my clients. So just flip it around. You acknowledged, you tried your best, and sometimes it takes a second. So there are times when you think nobody's answering you, and sometimes there's a glitch in the matrix or there's a Wi-Fi issue, and you don't see stuff right away. That's okay. A host can come in and say, hey, I do see a few ones in the chat. If they're in there and you don't see them, a good host will go, hey, that's the host. It's not for the audience to come in. It's for the host to chime in and say, hey. It's for the host to chime in and say, you're on mute. That's what the host job should be, right? So you do want to guide as a good host. You guide people. Hey, you've got 5 minutes. Chime in. Because if people can't see something going on in the chat, even if they're private chatting you, it's better that they chime in and kindly say, hey, you've got about 2 minutes left. I know you're doing well, and say something smart. Don't be rude, but just guide your speaker and say, hey, just to let you know, you've got 5 minutes left, because the host should know that. They should be paying attention. You've got 5 minutes left, just so you know, and then we'll get into audience Q&A or wherever you're going. So thank you. Your talk is going well. There's ways to kind of guide that and let them know, or if you have questions, there's ways to cut in. And you need to, because we all get excited. I've had it happen to me one time, and I went, I think, a couple minutes over, and my clock, I had set an alarm, but they didn't go off. So I was watching a stopwatch, but the host never came in, and I felt so rude because I went overtime. I felt horrible, because it's not professional. But the host, they should be guiding you in. So, but this is a way to align with high value outcomes. And now we're getting into talk to demonstrate, not just to explain. And here's what I see. What I think is so great is when you're doing your workshops, Colleen, is, the other day when you did your workshop, you were bringing people in. And you shared a PDF so people knew ahead of time, at least 24 hours ahead. And not everybody looked at it, but that's okay. But people get a chance to really kind of focus on what questions they want to ask or where they're going in the conversation. And then you stop and you took the little chunks and the highlights of those sections and said, hey, we're going to write this down. What did you guys come up with for, what's taking too much time, or what would you like to clear from your plate? And that is a great way to get your audience involved with you. And now even deeper, you're the expert. They get to actually get into that kind of nitty gritty. It's kind of like finger painting, right? When the kids are in kindergarten, they get to feel the paint, they get to do the thing, they get to have fun, they get to make a big mess, and they know that they're not alone and everybody's having a good time.
Right. And I think too that a big part of that is that it's helpful to the speaker because you have something there that you're engaging people with, but also for the audience, because at the end of each week, I go in and I have a CEO meeting with myself and my team and say, okay, this is like a brain dump of everything we did this week. On Monday, we did this. And now you have this thing that really stands out in their mind that they did. So they're going to come back to it again and again. Not only that, but they have the physical paper, right? They have their physical worksheet that's now sitting there waiting for them to take action on. And it's tangible. It's right in their on their desk or wherever. And so it really brings it back again. And it's all about relationship building when we're doing this. Let's talk a little bit about building recurring speaking opportunities and not one-offs. And I want you guys to think about this. If you are invited to a party, and I don't party that much, you would think that the amount of times I mention party on here that I am like the party queen, but I'm not. But I do know how to be a good guest. And so when I am invited to a party, do I just show up? Am I just polite? Do I bring a hostess gift? Do I celebrate the hostess and thank them for inviting me? What do I do in that party scenario? And so let's say that I'm invited to an annual party somewhere. I go to the party. Not only am I going to bring something to share, call in advance, see what I need to bring, how I can be helpful, do that. Then I'm going to bring a hostess gift. I'm going to acknowledge the hostess and thank them for inviting me. But then during it, I'm also going to make sure that I'm helpful. That if somebody needs directions to the restroom and I know where that is, I tell them where. I go around and I mingle. I intermix with people. I'm active in this. If there's something that needs done, somebody spills a drink, I can quickly clean up. I can just be there and be of service and help and integrate. And that really is building who I am while I'm there. And that is opening the door for me to be invited back to the party, right? Because I'm bringing value and I'm there and I'm acknowledging and I'm interacting. I am not the wallflower. The wallflower is not getting called back next year. The wallflower gets the one-offs, and that's not what you want. You want to be the one where they're going like, okay, yeah, have him back. And I'll just throw this out about Mary because there's this thing about something about Mary. Um, just- sorry, Mary, I had to. Okay, so Miss Mary Ferris and I go back probably a couple years, probably. But I think last year alone, she was on my podcast 3 times. And
Yeah.
why? Because I know she's bringing value and because she's worked to build a relationship with me. And so when she made a shift in her business, I wanted to provide her the opportunity to come on my podcast and share that shift with the world because she is such a great guest. And so I think that that's super important. Just being a good guest, being a good speaker in building those recurring speaking opportunities. Nicole, what's your take on that?
So, when that is absolutely it. Do you know, I mean, first of all, you built a good relationship, you built a good rapport, and you know that somebody's tried and true. So if you have a speaker that can't show up, won't show up, doesn't show up, um, you can pivot to someone who will come in, right? So I had Adele the other week that came in. We had a conversation, and it's so funny because twice she has been able to fill in for me when I had a place and support and be there. And support the other speakers, which is really great. So she stays, she supports the other speakers. She has conversation. She's very attentive. So I know that, hey, I can call on her and say, hey, come in. I don't have a guest. There was a scheduling issue or whatever. And come in. That's one thing. So you want to pivot to those that are trying true, that you can have a conversation, a critical thought conversation, a meaningful conversation somewhere that will be good. And sometimes, quite simply, it's just filling the airtime that you're there, that you're live. Let's be real. The other thing is that that they're going to talk and share you with the world and say, "Hey, I was on Nicole's podcast the other week. I was on Colleen's podcast the other week, and here's what happened," or invite other people in. That's one great thing, and these people know that they're supportive. So somebody calls on you, and I think I mentioned this the other day. I was there for people and I supported them, and I had paid for stages, and I was available at the last minute to get a speaker spot and fill in for people. And I've done that. I've had people that I've done that with. So you have, as the stage host, the ability to do that and know that this person's going to email out, know that this person's a good filler on the stage, know that this person's going to attract people or affiliate a product or a service with you. So you give them a spot. Maybe somebody's sponsoring. Give them a speaker spot. Maybe somebody's affiliating a product with you. Give them a speaker spot. So when you're looking at that and where you've had Mary on, you know she has an audience. You know she's going to share. You know that she's a good person. She has a good nature and she's smart and she understands business and what she's there for. So she's not going to try to pivot the conversation out of where the conversation needs to go for your audience, for your podcast, and make you look good. So when you look at that, you know that you've worked, you powered together, you collaborated together. Those are the people that are going to come in. And it's the same with a business in corporate America. You know that that person you can call and work a little overtime, right? At 2 o'clock in the morning when I had to call some security guards in. Hey, I can't stand 6 sites. I had 6 call-ins, one guy got fired, and so I'm not available in 6 places. I can't clone myself. Can you come in and work this site? And so I'd have people that I can come in. But what did I do for them? If I had to pick them up, if I had to get them a new uniform, if I brought them breakfast, maybe some coffee, an energy drink, whatever I needed to do to support them because they supported me and they got a little extra bonus in their check, right? So it works the same way when you're an entrepreneur. What are you getting out of it? What's the energetic exchange? What's the money exchange? And what's the difference? You know, people that support you will go far. And that's a great person that you're going to talk about that you introduced me to because she's such a good person and you have been supportive with each other. So I know, oh, this is a good recommendation and I'm going to talk to her.
Yeah, and I think she did a really good job of getting herself on the short list. And I think that we don't, as speakers and as hosts, we don't talk about the short list a lot, but there is a short list. I have a short list, and trust me when I say it's short, of a few people that at the drop of a hat I can call and say, "Hey, my guest bailed last minute. Can you hop on?" And they can hop on and just do all the things Nicole said. But that is something to aim for as a speaker, is to make those short lists, because the value that comes is huge. Knowing that when I get in a room, I can confidently say these people, this, that, the other. These are excellent people, and that puts you a step ahead of all of the other speakers in the room. And I think that that's so important to take advantage of that opportunity. And really, it's an opportunity that's given to everybody, but few act on it. It's one of those things where, a lot of people want success, but it shows up looking like a shovel in overalls. And so they run the other way. And so these people aren't running from that. They're saying, oh, be on in 3 minutes. Yeah, I can do that. Whoosh, ponytail and getting on, where other people may be like, well, wait a second. Can't you be decent and call me in advance? And I don't have anything prepared. All the reasoning, right? That doesn't position you on the short list. So building up in yourself to take advantage of the opportunities to be on the short list is huge. I've also had the opportunity when I've been on a summit, actually, and I think you were hosting a summit one time. You were like, "Hey, my speaker didn't show up. Want to come on?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you bet. Let's go. I'm ready to roll." And so you just go on and do it. And I think that for all of the discomfort that may be there the first couple times you do that, it's the benefits far outweigh that. And so that's huge. So anything else on that, Nicole, before we lead into tagging our leads?
Well, so I will say one thing. People look at the shovel coming and it may look like work, but as long as the shovel, though that group of people with a shovel, hammer, and sickles aren't chasing you out of town, right? That you were such a bad guest. Yeah, the bad guest that you made the host look bad. That is the other thing. Come be a good guest. Show up. You can give something away or share your social media site, but be a good guest. And that is so important if you want to get on the short list, not ride the short bus. I mean, you may come with your helmet, lick the windows, whatever. Hey, if that's your thing, that's your thing, but don't do it during the summit. Um, you know, that is absolutely, people want you real and raw. They want to know that you're independent, but you're dependable. They want to know that you're a strong worker and that you're going to show up and you're going to be tried and true. And you're not going to come entitled or like the princess, like, hey, you didn't let me know. But you can kindly say, hey, sorry if I knew I just booked somebody. I'm a little busy, but next time, please let me know. Usually I have time. And it's happened. So you just let people know it's how you react to them. If you're like, oh my God, I can't put my face on, everything's, the weather's bad, my hair's all, whatever, right? That's why people want you real and raw, not too raw. Just, Walmart style, don't come in your fuzzy bunny slippers. But that is the thing. It is a full picture. It's a full package. Are you reaching out? Because you're leveraging the audience that other people have. You're technically you're borrowing it for a minute, right? If you want to keep that audience, you got to show up with flair, with style. And you see this with the host. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to hear this next speaker. And I've seen it. The speaker before was so absolutely boring that, and I know I said it, but it was so bad that the host kept trying to bring that speaker back. And I've seen it. You try to bring that speaker back, and you're like, come on. You're trying to pivot, and you're bringing a question, and they want to keep telling the story. And the story's going on and on like a 3-year-old with a box of crackers just coming on there and talking and talking, and it's going nowhere. And the host is trying to save you. Stop, pay attention, and pivot, because either it's going nowhere, it's unclear, it has nothing to do with what you're talking about, or the host needs to move on. It may be a time thing. If the host is telling you, move on, say, hey guys, I think I've gone a little bit over. And so I want to close out. I want to thank you. Please get my gift. The host will drop it in here for you, or upgrade to the VIP, and this is what you get today. It's this value, and here's the call we're getting on. Cut it short. Just cut it short and say, hey, I enjoyed being on the stage. I want to thank you guys for the support. Whether they support you in the chat or not, just go with it. Find a way to pivot and stop, and not go on and on, because the world is not going to end if you don't say your call to action. The world is not going to come to an end if you don't say this last sentence. Be a good guest, and that's at any time, and watch out. So that is really the demonstration of what we're talking about. And then that brings you recurring speaking opportunities, not just one-offs. So people will share their audience with you. And then that gets into the back end conversion that you're going on. I know, to talk about your follow-up.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
we did,
so excited
yeah.
about this today. So, yesterday I was in a meeting with Jane War, and for those who know her, she is the founder of Selling on the Spot. Love everything that she's doing. Love every interaction I have with her. And this is another testament to being a person of integrity. She connected with Nicole. Nicole connected her with me. So, and now the circus of building relationships keeps going, right? When I was in that meeting with her, actually afterwards we had another more private meeting for Premier members. And in the Premier member meeting, she shared a link with me that I've dropped in the chat now. I dropped that in the chat so that I can talk to you about this, because I don't promote a ton of tools, but this one I think is phenomenal. And so it's usually $29 a month. I will tell you right now that if you use the coupon code I dropped in the chat, that it's going to be $247 a year. But let me tell you what this tool does. Anytime you attend networking and people are dropping things in the chat, you can save that chat and drop the chat into this tool, and it will extract for you the names of the attendees, their emails, and their phone numbers if they put those in. Why is this important? Well, let's say that I am whatever at a networking event, and everybody drops this in, and I told everybody about my Monday morning business foreplay podcast, and there are people who say they want to come to it, they want to apply to speak or just attend. That's also going to be in there, and that can be siphoned out as well. But I can go through and collect their email address, their names, and then convert that into a CSV, which is a form that I'm going to use to upload those contacts into my customer relationship management, into my CRM. And as I do that, I'm going to tag them as to where they came from. Where was I speaking when I came in contact with these people? And so I will tag them as Lunch with Lynn, let's just say, or Selling on the Spot. Wherever I was, I'll tag them that way. but then I can also tag them. I can take some off and just keep the ones that want to speak on my stage or the ones that want to attend my stage. I can tag them accordingly so that then inside my CRM, I can go filter out and get just the people from all 10 networking events I attended this month that said they want to be a guest speaker or that said they just want to be in the audience of these. And I can specifically target email those people. And so that is huge. But then also, I can go back and say, where's my networking really working? Where am I getting the most interaction and engagement? I can filter that way and see how many people did I connect with that came in that are interested from this networking or from networking B or networking C, and just filter that out and kind of see. So that is super, super important to be able to um, tag those leads based on where your authority was built. So whatever, if it's even a summit or podcast or whatever, when those leads come in, being able to have a tool like ChatBridge that you can just plug the chat in and grab that information out. And what that also does for you, that helps position you as a person of authority in your arena that you're in, is it makes it so you're not checking the chat. So you're not over here like this looking at the chat and trying to grab the information out and paste it somewhere else and grab it and paste it and not miss anything. You're able to be fully present in the moment where you can position yourself as the expert, right? And so you want to be able to pay attention to this and then just at the very end, be able to save that chat and have a simple way to process that, tagging your leads. And then that gives you the opportunity to follow up and reinforce your expert positioning, which is what all of this is about, right? Your email sequences then are in alignment with where you met them, and you can just stream those to them very easily. And I think that that tool is just really going to be essential in the simplification process of not dropping any leads from your networking. I think that that's, have you heard of that,
Yeah,
Nicole?
I've heard of ChatBridge, so I am very familiar with it. What's the learning curve on that, or is it just a simple tool to
3
set up?
minutes. 3 minutes. I mean, she just did a demonstration, showed us how to use it.
Really, really,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love that because there are some other tools that people have, and there's such an incredible learning curve. There's all this AI that collects data, like on LinkedIn and whatever, and it takes such a long amount of time. And you can't, whether you learn it and understand it, it's still such a time process because you have to go to the back end. So that's awesome. And I know when you do your tech tools and you talk about this as a part of the reason I asked you the question is, I know you. I know that you're not going to share something that is difficult to
Right.
utilize, that is the next shiny object, that's something that you comprehend, you understand, and you probably went down a bit of a rabbit hole with it for a little while and went, woo, this is fun, right? So you've
Right.
experimented in this, and this is the point of collaboration. So when you're in a group, automate, delegate, and then look to affiliate. So, guys, if you have a product or a service and you want to talk to us, you want to share that, you want to share a masterclass, we have ways you can do this. And there are great tools that we want to share. But again, we're going to check the tool out. We're
Yes.
going to look at the tool. We're going to research the tool and the person, and that person may be a tool, but we're going to check that out. And the way to affiliate is different streams of income. And when you sponsor and you sponsor yourself, you can run commercials, you can talk about this, and you can say, hey, go click this. Yes, I get a bit of a couple bucks from this, but it is a great tool, and that's why I want to share it. Affiliation, and I affiliate, whether it's speakers or sponsors or my stages, anything that I do. So, hey guys, I know it. Here's a shameless plug. If you want to DM me or get with me, if you maybe aren't ready to come on the stage or you don't have time to come on stage, you could sponsor or affiliate, the products and services and the things that I do around speaking and podcasting, and we can work something out. It's a great way to make other streams of income and support you. It's another way to market what you're doing. It's a great way because somebody excited, just like Colleen, she found this thing just the other day. She's excited. She's come here. She's talked about it. And there you go. Boom. And she's supporting the other person that Jane that gave it to her, shared it with her. So you're looking at this, does this work in my life? First, you got to ask that. It's not the next shiny object. It's not something that's thousands and thousands of dollars. It's something simple. And no, in this day and age with tech, if you're charging an extreme amount because you can for certain tech tools that somebody can buy for 20 bucks, just be forewarned. I do want to say this with all of my heart, even working in AI and when I was in virtual reality, we bought a tool, an AI tool that did a bit of a CRM, so customer relationship management, and it did the back end. Didn't do it that well, but there was some apps and there were some other cool commercials we could make with the AI. The licensing was $500. With that licensing, they could have maybe 20, 30 people in that licensing before they had to buy another one. They bought the licensing for $500. There is a company, won't say the name, that I was introduced to. It's an MLM, and they had that exact same licensing from the exact same time, doing the exact same thing. And there's a lot with that that you cannot do. It's not very user friendly, but they only allowed you to utilize a portion of it and wanted to charge 60 bucks a month for something that they bought for $500. The math was not mathing for me and the product was not getting upgraded. This is why I stopped using the product and didn't buy the licensing myself. And I was trying to let people, forewarn people, because I will give you a heads up, just like I am doing now. Don't fall for that trickeration and be very careful, buyer beware. Understand what you're using and who's selling the product. If the person selling the product cannot demonstrate it, obviously Jane demonstrated it very well and understood the technology, and Colleen understands the technology. And if you have questions, reach out for her. And know if somebody's like, well, I don't know what it does. When you ask technical questions of a tech, an AI, a chat, anything like that, a tech tool, a SaaS, a software, if that person cannot answer the questions, don't buy from them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? I mean, if they're selling the product and they want to introduce you to the creator or introduce you to, hey, I think it's a great product. I'm not sure how to use it, but you can use my affiliate link, but I'll go to the owner who created it. Say something about that. Don't try to teach people. And I'm going to say this, I've been in many networking events and I've asked somebody and I'm like, what does this glorious tool do? Because I worked in tech, I learned to code, I understand tech, and somebody was trying to sell me a product. And I said, look, I went into virtual reality and built worlds, illustrated worlds, and did all this stuff, went very deep into the system, and they're trying to sell me a device that they could not explain why it was better. And I'm going to tell you guys, I came back to Zoom for my events. Why? Because it's user friendly, it's easy, and everybody knows how to do it.
Right.
If the tech that you're sharing is not user friendly, and this is what you teach well in your workshop, and I think you got one coming up. Is it next week you have your next
Next
one?
Wednesday. Yep. Next
Yeah.
Wednesday.
You're Colleen is great at teaching how to eliminate the chaos and how to tech stack, which means you have a couple of tech things that what do you really need to get through your life, right? Or you could just give it all to Colleen and she's going to do this fabulous job. And that's what I think people need to understand about tech is don't just buy it to buy it. And it's not for namesake because it's new. You don't want to buy the thing because it's been on the market for 2 days, right? You got to know where is it, what the beta test was. You got to do your research, right?
Well, and the thing is, too, is that complicated doesn't necessarily mean it's better. It is so much easier to scale something that's simple than it is to scale something that's complicated. And so any tool that I recommend is going to be a simple tool. And I will also always be happy to just jump on a call and show someone how to use it. I will say, um, about Jane sharing it with us yesterday. When she opened the screen to share it with us, they had changed the screen. They had changed things around. It still didn't take her more than 3 minutes to show us how to use it on a new screen she had never seen before. And so that is the epitome of simple right there. And I want everything to be simple and easy while also balancing the fact that it needs to position you as an expert. And so this is a great tool that does both of those things by bringing in your chats and really drawing out the information that you need so that you can tag them as they're coming in to your CRM and into your world and really follow up with them in a way that holds value. So what I think we talked about so much today, Nicole. We are at the top of the hour. So what did we learn? We talked a little bit about the senses, right? And how just posting gets seen, right? If you post captions, post pictures, that gets seen. And that is important, but it does not hold the value of posting something of you talking, a video of you talking and interacting. And those can be taken off of stages that you're on, whether it's podcast, whether it's webinars, whether it's summits, but take those short clips and convert them into your content because that touches three senses. And so that triples your touch points with these people and really just helps to build out that relationship.
Absolutely, absolutely. We went through a lot today, and just you know what? That's what we're here for, guys. We want to simplify your life. We want to help you, but we're going to give you some truth bombs. You got them here. We not only give you the pain point and say, hey, this is where some clients are triggered and these are mistakes that we've seen happen, but we're going to give you solutions. And that's what you're looking for, right? Everybody really needs the deep is you're not in fear. You don't need to be in overwhelm, but how to clear it, how to eliminate all that chaos, how to clean it up, strategize, and make your life a lot simpler so you can enjoy it. So we'll see you next week, next Tuesday. We'll come at you. Oh, Monday morning business foreplay on Monday. And on Monday, here's a clue. Tuesday and Thursday, the Voice Lab podcast, and Wednesday is the Pain Point podcast, where I'm going to play the commercial, and we're out of here, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
You're showing up. You're posting. You're speaking. You're doing everything they told you would grow your business. So why is it not converting? Because visibility is only half the equation. Getting attention is easy. Turning that attention into clients takes strategy. Voice Lab was built to solve that. This is where front-end visibility meets back-end conversion. You learn how to get on stages, create your own platforms, and use podcasts, summits, and workshops to grow your audience and generate real leads. Then you learn what most people never build. A system that captures those leads, follows up, nurtures relationships, and turns interest into revenue. Email and newsletter strategy that actually gets responses. Workflows, not just more noise. Real connection that leads to real business. Inside Voice Lab, you are not guessing. You're learning the how. You're implementing in real time. You're building a business that works even when you are not constantly chasing attention. Because here's the truth. If you don't have visibility, no one knows you exist. If you don't have systems, nothing converts. Voice Lab gives you both, so you can stop performing for attention and start building momentum that pays you back. If you are ready to grow your authority, expand your reach, and finally turn visibility into income, join Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi in the Voice Lab. Scan the QR code, join Voice Lab Group on the School platform, and build the business that actually